Ever wonder what it really takes to have total creative control? Well, for pop icon Debbie Gibson, it meant breaking all the rules. We're going to dive into the story of how she walked away from the very top of the charts just to define success on her own terms, all detailed in her fantastic memoir, Eternally Electric. To really get Debbie Gibson's story, we have to start with just one number: 17. Now, on its own, sure, it's just an age, but in the history of pop music, that number represents a record, a truly stunning achievement that, to this day, has never been repeated. That's right, at just 17 years old, Debbie Gibson wrote, produced, and performed her #1 hit, Foolish Beat. That is the music industry's triple crown. It's an almost unbelievable accomplishment that just launched her into total superstardom. And this wasn't just some lucky break. I mean, think about that for a second. Decades later, she still holds the record as the youngest female artist to ever do it all: write, produce, and perform a chart-topping hit. That's not just a debut. That is making history. But that kind of success doesn't just happen in a vacuum. To really understand the artist, you've got to understand the environment that created her. And for Debbie Gibson, it all started right at home. Gibson is absolutely clear about who made it all possible: her late mother, Diane. She wasn't just a parent cheering from the sidelines. She was her momager, her biggest champion, and really the driving force behind the whole operation. And that support was incredibly hands-on. Her mother actually secured a $10,000 loan to turn their Long Island home into a literal hit factory. First, it was the garage. Then they moved to the laundry room, and finally, a proper studio where her hits were born. Gibson even remembers having to pause recording sessions when someone needed to do a load of laundry. Can you imagine? This home was a true creative incubator. Songwriting wasn't some chore for Gibson. Her inner monologue just came with a melody attached. Her parents didn't see it as a hobby. They celebrated it, asking her every single day to hear her new work. So when she walked into Atlantic Records at 16, she wasn't just another kid with a dream. Nope, she was a professional songwriter with a catalog of 100 songs already written. But that homegrown creativity, it was about to collide head-on with the hard realities of the music industry. And this is where the central conflict of her story really kicks off: the battle between her art and pure commerce. The tension here was pretty simple. On one side, you had Gibson, who knew her audience inside and out and just wanted to evolve naturally as an artist. On the other side, the record label was bringing in outside strategists to force a more sexualized image that she just wasn't ready for, what she bluntly calls a male power play. And this is where her mother, Diane, became her fierce protector. Gibson remembers her mom in those conference rooms, literally pounding her fists on the table, fighting against executives who just couldn't believe a teenage girl could produce her own music. It was a battle for creative control from day one. So faced with losing the very creative control she had fought so hard for, Debbie Gibson made a choice that must have been terrifying. At the absolute height of her fame, she walked away from the major label system to go it alone. This decision wasn't an end, though. It was a brand new beginning. It's the moment she truly became what she now calls the queen of the pivot, a philosophy that would pretty much define the entire rest of her career. So what exactly is the pivot? Well, in her own words, it's about consciously choosing to embrace change. It's not seeing a closed door as a failure, but as a chance to find the hidden gift that's waiting in a new direction. It's a really powerful mindset for any career when you think about it. You can really see her entire career through these pivots. First, that explosion onto the scene in '88. Then, that huge decision to walk away in the mid-'90s. That was followed by a massive resurgence in 2019 when she reconnected with her original fans on tour. And it all leads to today, where she is thriving by connecting directly with her audience online, completely independent. And yeah, that brings us to today. Far from fading away after leaving the big labels, she's built something way more sustainable and, in her own words, far more fulfilling. And don't mistake independence for a lack of success. The numbers really speak for themselves. Throughout her entire career, both on a major label and off, she has sold over 16 million albums worldwide. That's proof that her independent spirit didn't just preserve her art, it actually strengthened her bond with her fans. You see, this isn't about nostalgia or trying to relive the past. For Gibson, the creative peak isn't behind her, it's right now. She says this current era, the one she built completely on her own terms, is when she's thriving more than ever. That is a powerful testament to owning your own vision. In the end, Debbie Gibson's story isn't just about music. It's about the courage to change course, to trade fame for freedom. And it kind of leaves us with a question, doesn't it? What gift is waiting for you in a new direction? What pivot in your own life is just waiting to be embraced?